I have a question. It's not forestry, but you were saying water apple.
Water apple?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Are you eating them?
I eat them sometimes. I don't eat them now because we don't have any. It's not the right season.
Category is like.
Which category of fruit is it in? It's probably a subacid fruit. Very high water content.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of them. So, but I'm a huge fan of having as many varieties of fruit as possible. So we'll grow a lot of things I don't particularly like. I mean, the water apple tree, there's a big water apple tree right over here. It was already here. I'm certainly not going to take it out. We had noni. We had a couple noni trees in Panama. And has anyone ever smelled noni fruit?
Yeah.
Tasted it.
It smells a lot like vomit.
Tastes like that.
It was the one thing that was not allowed in the building. So we had plenty of nonis. So the tree was healthy, but don't bring that fruit inside my building, please. It stinks. It's nasty. And personally, I can see no reason to eat something that smells so bad. I have never tasted it. I have no intention of tasting it.
It doesn't taste good. It tastes like really sulfur.
Yeah,
The same thing.
I can't think of a reason why to taste it. So, but you know,
I say it's anti-cancer.
we'll probably still grow some noni. Why not? At least to be able to show people what it is, to demonstrate it. Some people have never seen fruit that smells like vomit. Everyone should have that experience. We'll grow all kinds of things. But we'll focus on the things that are amazing and taste good. So I'm constantly, yesterday, I have a friend named Julio who has supplied a lot of the plant material here. And, you know, as you guys know my story, starting from scratch just a couple of years ago and got here, had nothing. I'm renting because I couldn't buy any place. And it was difficult at first. And so even now, I mean, we do a big project. It can be a lot of money in plants. And I don't know how many thousands of dollars I've put into this property which I'm still leasing. It's not mine. You know, I want to live in a beautiful place. I want you guys to have a beautiful place to come to. Well, Julio supplies most of my plants. I buy them wherever I can find them, and I'm constantly looking for things I don't have. But I'm loyal, and he's been great. And one of the things he's done is he's given me credit. So I'll take a truckload of plants, and I'll pay him what I can, and I'll pay him over time, and he's happy because he knows the money's coming. He trusts me. He's always gotten it. Yesterday I went down to town, and one of the things I needed to do was pay him a little bit of money. I owed him. And I wasn't actually planning on buying anything. But that never works. He had some things we don't have. And we had some things I'm looking for. And one of the things he had was just a few, red bananas, which are my favorite kind of banana. So you can better believe I bought all the red bananas he had, all the roots, the plants ready to start. We bought, I think, a couple more mandarin oranges. We have some already, but we bought some more. Can't have too many of those.
Is it
a couple of mango trees, a variety we don't already have here. There's 400 plus mango varieties, I think. Actually, I saw something. I've always seen numbers around the hundreds, but I saw something recently that said in India grows the most mangoes.
800.
I saw more than 1,000 varieties just in India, according to this one document. So I don't know. There's a lot of different kinds of mangoes. There's a lot of different kinds of everything. And my plan is to get as many of them as possible. In fact, I'm working right now with a woman from Indonesia, and she said, you know, if you can come to Indonesia, you want to come in October, because there's one mango that only fruits in October, and it's amazing. You got to come then. And they're still durian then too, she said. So anyway, I'll be going there sometime in October.
How long does it take?
Maybe I'll come see you guys.
How long does it take from you planted a tree till it grows fruit?
Most fruit trees take at least 5 to 6 years to fruit. Now,
from a seed?
Yeah, from the time they start growing, 5 to 6 years to fruit. And that's most fruit trees. There are some, like durian, that take 8 to 10 years to fruit. And then we have things like bananas and papayas, which fruit in as little as 9 months from seed. But they're not trees.
How about
they're actually grasses. So they grow much more quickly, they die much more quickly, they have shorter lives. In fact, each banana plant is really a stalk it's just a shoot, like a grass shoot. Fruits one time and then dies. But each root keeps putting new shoots out.
Can you buy bigger trees and plant them?
You can buy bigger trees, yeah. When we moved to Panama, the building in Panama was incredibly ugly. This building was pretty ugly too. Hopefully you'll see that soon if I can get these pictures together. And what I wanted to do is hide the building behind landscaping, because I didn't know what else to do with it. And so one of the things I thought we would do is bring in 3 really big coconut palms that would start giving us coconuts right away as well. But they were, even in Panama, which is inexpensive, much less expensive than here, I think those trees were $150 each. So in the 6.5 years I was in Panama, I put in more than 1,000 fruiting plants. It's a good thing they weren't all $150 each. Couldn't have done that. You know, a lot of them we grew from seed. A lot of them were plants that cost me $1 or $2. So while it's great to bring in large plants, first of all, you know, a really big plant, a big tree, you need a machine to move it. I mean, they're heavy as hell. It's a big deal. And the truth is, you're usually going to do better. 2 of those 3 trees, by the way, here's the sad part of the story, 2 of them didn't survive 6 months. Because it's much harder with a fully mature tree to move it and plant it and have it be healthy. And we put them in places that were too wet. And the people I bought them from who planted them should have known that, but I wound up building berms there and planting coconut palms from seed, from coconuts. You can just take a coconut and stick it in the ground. That's the seed, right? And those trees wound up doing perfectly well. It just took a few years because they weren't already 20 feet tall. They were no feet tall. They weren't coming out of the ground yet when we planted them. But within a few years, we had 10-foot plants. Still takes them a while to start producing coconuts. But that's why smaller plants often make sense, especially on a big scale. This is a 10-acre project. The goal is to plant as many trees here as I can. You know, we're going to wind up planting, I'm buying seedlings that are this tall sometimes, but we're still planting a lot from seed and growing our own.
How about red bananas? How long time for them to grow?
Yeah, like all other bananas, they're 9 to 12 months. They'll start fruiting.
Is it possible to buy that now in Costa Rica or Panama?
It's possible to get red bananas in Panama at the central market. They always have them. I had all the suppliers. There were 3 or 4 places, maybe 5 people I knew in Panama, within an hour, half an hour of me or so, an hour of me, that had red bananas sometimes, and they all had the same instructions. When you get these bananas, call me, and I'll be there within 2 days to get them. Don't sell them to anybody else. I want them all. And I didn't actually, and there were times I had way too many. But I wanted to make sure I always had them. So I never said no. If they told me they had them, I went and got them. Because I didn't want to, if I figured if I turned them down, they might go to somebody else next time. So I bought them all, and we sometimes had too many. But here in this area of Costa Rica, it's much harder to find.
How do you know when they arrive?
They're soft.
Yes, soft.
Yeah. They're red bananas. Here they call them caribes. In Panama, we call them morado, which means purple. When they're green, they're purple. Okay, when they're unripe, they're sort of a purple color. When they ripen, they become almost an orange color. They change. They get much, much lighter in color.
So orange, almost.
Almost orange, but they should be soft. Really soft. And fragrant.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah, you could try hitting somebody with one. You know, if they get a bruise, then they're not ripe yet. They should be soft, not hard.
And by the way, Bali, I found a ticket yesterday, $500
Wow.
from LA.
Did you get one for me?
I can get you one today.
Thanks.
October 25th.
It'd be a very nice. I just had a birthday. It'd be a very nice gift. Other questions? Any other permaculture related questions?
The material of your greenhouse out there, what material is that?
That's the same as this stripe material.
Yeah.
It's called shade cloth.
Shade cloth, right.
Yeah, it's some kind of plastic. I'm not sure what it's made of. Polyethylene, I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
It's a woven material that has some spaces so that water and sunlight come through. They sell it in different amounts of shade, different degrees of shade. So you could buy, I think, 60, 70, 80, 90% shade,
Okay.
where 10 to 40% sunlight comes through. This is probably 80% shade. And the black is the same. I think it's the same degree of shade. I wanted this here because I think it's prettier. I wanted the black there because I wanted it to disappear as much as possible. But it's basically doing exactly the same thing.
And permaculture's idea of how a greenhouse should be, what it should be used for.
A greenhouse?
A greenhouse, right.
Well,
What's the purpose of that?
permaculture would I think, generally would say you want to do as little of that as possible.
Yeah.
Now, you know, in Sweden, a greenhouse probably would make sense. There'd be things that you would want to grow year-round that you couldn't grow without one. Here, you don't really see greenhouses so much. That's a shade house, not a greenhouse.
Yeah.
You know, a greenhouse is glass or thick
Okay.
plastic like polycarbonate
okay.
designed to allow sunlight and to keep warmth, to retain warmth in places that are cold. That's what a greenhouse is for, primarily.
Okay.
Here, we don't want it to get any warmer. Okay?
Right.
We don't
Yeah,
need that.
That's cool.
In fact, in Panama, we did some plastic roofs because we were trying to grow things that didn't do well with too much water. So we had watermelons and regular tomatoes and lettuces, and I wanted to grow them year-round. So we put up these plastic roofs, but we didn't build them high enough. And what do? They trapped the heat. Sun came through, ground heated up, it got too hot in there, and things like tomatoes, the plant goes up, the higher you go, the hotter it gets. They weren't happy. Things on the ground were okay because it was cool enough, but the taller plants weren't happy at all. It was too warm. So here you want to be very careful. Most people that do plastic roofs only do them in the rainy season and take them off in the dry season because you don't want to trap the heat in the dry season when there's no rain to cool it off. And often what they're doing is they're doing both plastic to prevent too much rain, too much water, and shade cloth. Both. But the shade cloth is more important for most things here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? I know you guys need to go eat.
Is it time?
It is past time.
Oh.
10 after 12. Enjoy your meal.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Ken Day.
Happy Ken Day.